Hello, welcome to this weather update. It is September 29th, and it's 9:45, and we got a lot going on once again with Ian. Now a hurricane once again. Giving you the overview here. You can see the moisture from Ian is pumping out so much moisture that we actually have the cloudiness already from it over us. Now today was not that sunny. We had some sun in the morning, and then we had some cumulus pop up, and then this cirrus shield came in from Ian. And I'll just show you what it looked like here in the sky because it was pretty interesting. So this is what the cirrus shield looked like. You can see really pretty cirrus clouds there. That's the kind you get from hurricanes. There again is the sky that we had this afternoon. And yeah, another look at the sky this afternoon. And then for sunset, boy, did it get, we had quite a sunset. I didn't know if we were going to have one or not, but boy, this is what we got. Very, very red skies there, as you see there. As the sun was hitting that cirrus coming up from underneath from it. You can see this is definitely what you get when you have the hurricane there generating those high cirrus clouds and creating some interesting clouds there in the sky. And we'll show you all the pictures here we took of this because this was pretty amazing to see. Wish I was at a lake, but I didn't quite. Was at a lake earlier. You can see here just really pretty clouds there. It's kind of like what it looked like after dusk. You can see really, you get those kind of clouds when you have from hurricanes. That's what you get. So let's go back to the satellite image here and talk about the latest statistics on Ian right now that we have for you. So latest from the National Hurricane Center. And it is a hurricane once again. It literally just lashed even the east coast of Florida, like Daytona, Melbourne, got lashed by this thing. Flooding, power outages, storm surge. They even had the old storm surge over there. So Ian's taking aim at the Carolinas and Georgia with life-threatening flooding, storm surge, and strong winds. As of 8 p.m., its location is 29.7 north, 79.4 west, about 215 miles south of Charleston, South Carolina, and about 300 miles south-southwest of Cape Fear, North Carolina. Maximum sustained winds are 75 miles an hour, and it's moving north-northeast at 10 miles an hour, still going very slowly. And minimum central pressure is 986 millibars, 29.12 inches. And you can see the size, and it could strengthen before landfall. I said it would be a hurricane when I said it would be a hurricane when it got out. A lot of people say no, it's going to stay a tropical storm. I'm like, no, it's going to become a hurricane once it gets back over the water again because it weakened when it crossed Florida, but not all that much. So hurricane force winds extend outward eastward up to 45 miles from the center, and tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 415 miles from the center. That's pretty remarkable. St. Augustine Beach Pier recently reported a sustained wind of 54 miles an hour and a gust to 62. So this isn't over yet. This is still going, the storm, and the disaster that this storm is producing is going to continue. So here we go. Here is what we have right now, and you can see they have it landfalling as a hurricane. Hurricane warnings are in effect for almost the entire coast of South Carolina and a little bit of North Carolina, and tropical storm warnings are in effect for the east coast of Florida and Georgia. And really, this should be upgraded to hurricane warning now that it's a hurricane. This because they're still experiencing close to hurricane conditions over here. Even though the thing is offshore, it's such a huge storm, it really is. And we're going to go look at a lot of the observations. We have a lot to talk about. Before I do that, though, let's talk about this tornado, the tornadoes that occurred Tuesday evening into Wednesday morning. And there were a couple of them. So the tornadoes that Ian spawned. The first one, North Perry Airport, Pembroke Pines, Cooper City, EF1 tornado. So a tornado moved across southern metro Broward County on the evening of September 27th and associated with the outer rain bands of Hurricane Ian. So its rating was an EF1. Peak wind was 90 miles an hour. Path length, it was on the ground 5.7 miles with 150 yards. And let's go to the next one here. This is the summary. Oh, this is the summary of the storm here. I'm not going to read the whole thing for you here. We'll link it all below, but this is a tornado. Another tornado moved across southern metro Broward County on the evening of September 27th. That was an EF0. And This is the Wellington Lion Country Safari EF1 tornado. A tornado associated with the outer rain band of Hurricane Ian moved over parts of Wellington and Loxahatchee in Palm Beach County on Tuesday evening, September 27th. And this was an EF1 with 90-mile-an-hour winds. It was on the ground for 8.3 miles. And that's remarkable again. That's a long time for a tornado to be on the ground in Florida. It was 150 yards wide. It started at Wellington, and it ended at Loxahatchee. All right? And this moved through Loxahatchee, Florida, and it caused abundant tree damage in the area. And then we have the Moore Haven EF0 tornado that occurred on September 28th. It was an 85 miles an hour. It was a little weaker. And this was the Moore Haven one. We'll have the links below if you want to read out all these tornadoes that were spawned. But that's quite a few tornadoes that was spawned by Ian. Next, let's go to the power outage situation. It hasn't really gotten any better. We have 2,003,502. That's such a big number, I can't even read. All right, but that is the number right there. So we'll just leave it at this. 2.3 million people without power right now. 2.3 million customers without power. That could mean multiple people. All right, to keep that in mind. And you can see a lot of these counties here still in a nearly complete blackout. In a lot of these areas here, Lee County, they're almost completely out, I would say, at this point. A lot of these, and even going east, Polk County had significant outages. And look at this, Volusia and Flagler, a lot of people without power, even down over there. This whole area just got slammed because this was going on into the wee morning hours. It was still knocking out the power and causing flooding. If we go to the Ian situation here, here's an article that says FPL system will need to be rebuilt because of Hurricane Ian. All right, so it says right here we still don't have any images of the damage as far as transmission line damage. We don't have any pictures of it. I'm sure that there has been transmission line damage, but there's a lot of distribution line down.
Breaking news. So we got this tweet from Florida Power and Light. I think we can bring it up here as a graphic on our screen.
The whole system will have to be rebuilt. But we're trying to see if we can get any pictures of what some of the damage looked like here to the power lines. Yeah, here's one here. Here's another. No, that's Cuba. So we don't really have a whole lot of images of the damage to the power system in Florida right now. I assume they're still assessing, and we'll get more information later. And when I have that, I will provide you with that. But right now, I'm not going to go try looking for it when it's hard to find. All right. So let's go to the latest satellite imagery here. And this is the satellite loop for our area you see here. And we'll just show you again what happened today. So you'll see we had these clouds kind of pop up for most of the day, and then we had the cirrus kind of come in. But I want to show you Ian. So let's go to Ian here. So here is Ian, and you can see it. Look at that. There it is. It's actually, that looks like an eye trying to get itself together once again out over the ocean that's northeast of Florida. This storm is not done yet, and it lashed, and I mean lashed this whole area here. Even though southwest Florida is devastated. All right. We go look at Ian's damage, and there's so many articles, you can look it up. But it's just incredible. You have whole neighborhoods look like a bomb went off, especially Fort Myers Beach, that whole area, and it's really just a tragic situation, and there are probably going to be fatalities too, I'm sure. But it also caused problems in Melbourne as well. Places like Melbourne, Flagler County, for instance. We can do Flagler County, and you'll see they'll talk about some of the damage here. Storm surge flooding they've had over there too, and also rainwater flooding as well from all the rain. You can see some images here that are from the flooding here. So just tremendous amounts of damage. You'll get plenty of it on the news. You don't have to watch me for that, obviously, but it's just been a terrible disaster for that whole area. and it's going to take many years to cover. It's already the costliest hurricane to ever hit the United States, and it's not even done yet. All right. So let's go to the current conditions, and we're going to look at Florida here. And yes, we have those hurricane warnings up for the South Carolina coast. But let's take a look at what's going on here. And just to give you an idea of some of the conditions and, of course, the rainfalls, too, that occurred over here, we'll start with, and you can still see these winds gusting quite a bit here. All right. The Palm Coast, these are the areas that got hit very hard here. All right. And if we look at some of the observations here, we'll take a look at this observation, for instance, as soon as we can get it to load. And you'll see here it's a lot of just a real lashing over the past day here, a real lashing. And you can see, look at all these rainfalls here, that they've had. So that's one site. That doesn't look too bad. But there are other sites that are definitely worse. And let's see if we can... Here's another site that's worse. All right, this is Jacksonville. It was south of Jacksonville that got hit the hardest. So we go to the power outage map. I'll kind of go by this. Volusia County, Volusia and Seminole really got hit. So let's go back to this here. I wish this would show by county, but it doesn't, unfortunately. So I think we got to go a little further to the south here. Yeah, a little more to the south, I think. And these are the areas that really got... Yeah, there's a site at Heritage Middle School. All right, so... and it looks like, yeah, there are not a whole lot of observations here, but if you look at the rainfall, it says 10.84. And that's precip since 12 a.m., not counting the day before. Let's see if we can find somewhere. New Smyrna Beach, these are the areas. New Smyrna Beach was devastated, unfortunately. There was a terrible storm surge over there. So I'm trying to find maybe an airport or official observation station here that we can look at here. So we have Orlando Sanford Airport, or we can look at the airport here in Orlando, and again give you what Orlando had to deal with too, because they've had to deal with a lot of rain too, and it's not showing up in the gauge. I don't know why, but you can see all the wind. So let's go take a look at the rainfall observations. I just wanted to give you an idea of what the conditions were like in these areas here. This Titusville, this is where NASA is. We can look at some of the observations over there. And you can see they've had some pretty strong winds here as well overnight. You can see here some pretty strong winds. So, again, this is all the combination of the wind and the rain. Really causing some... Let's go a little further now. Let's go to Palm Bay. Yeah, Melbourne, Palm Bay, this area here. If we can find... So we'd like to find an airport site. Yeah, here we go. Melbourne International Airport. So let's take a look at this one, and then we'll look at the map, and we'll look at all these rainfall totals again, because the rain is incredible. So, and you can see they got a real lashing here with the wind. But let's go take a look at the... Yeah, let's go to this morning here. They got a good amount of observations to look at. You can see how strong the winds were gusting. So let's go take a look at these rainfall totals now that we've kind of looked at the wind. And we'll take a look at the... go to precipitation. And we'll do a... let's do a 36-hour rainfall total here. To show you what, again, has been going on. So, again, look at all these high rainfall amounts you see. And there are higher amounts than that. There are areas that have gotten 2 feet of rain, which is just crazy. You see there's a 9.53 near Orlando. So there's been a lot of flooding in this area. Tremendous amounts of flooding in this area here. And you can see, look along here, St. John's. This is an area that really got hit very hard. You can see there's a tremendous amount of rain over here. This station in particular, Hastings, 8.60 inches. So that's, you add this up with the storm surge, all right? So that's really what makes it such a dangerous situation, because you have the storm surge too. And you can see here are some of these buoys. Let's take a look at this one here. South wind at 45, gusting to 58. 20-foot waves out there. So, yeah, that's significant. You can also look at these buoys here off the Carolinas. Look at that. You already got 11-foot waves already. So, yeah, this is Oh, yeah, here you go. You got wind gusts to 58 just offshore already in Carolinas. Northeast of 45, gusting to 58. There is no wave height reported on that buoy. There's another one here. Northeast at 42, gusting to 58. But I'm sure there's going to be, the storm isn't done yet. Now it's going to impact South Carolina and cause a lot of problems. And North Carolina too is going to feel the effects. The storm is going to be the costliest natural disaster by a long shot, and affecting many states. So let's go to tidbits now, and we will go and we will look at the latest here. And obviously, you see the situation going on. You have this high to the north here, and again, if we go look at the upper air here, we'll just go look at the upper air for a moment here. That's the lower upper. You see, we have somewhat of a. It can't, because it's being blocked. It can't exit out. You see, you got a ridge here. So unfortunately, instead of going out to sea like we would all like it to do, it's done enough damage. It's going to come and be forced into South Carolina. And then we'll see some of the remnants this weekend, unfortunately, which makes for a rainy, maybe a little bit of a wet weekend. We could use the rain, but, nobody really wants it on the weekend. But, I'd rather have the storm go out to sea and have to worry about, than have another area get impacted by it. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Because we take a look here, you'll see it makes that landfall. This is the GFS right to South Carolina as a hurricane. I wouldn't even be surprised if it strengthens possibly up to a Category 2. It could reach 100 miles an hour. It's possible. And then you'll see here that as we go into Saturday, you'll see we're dealing with some of the rain. We have a high that's trying to build down and push it back down again. It's very unusual with these highs coming down the way they do because, they're always building off of eastern Canada. This is the same thing we have now. They come down from eastern Canada instead of coming down through the Great Lakes. So instead of the storm being pushed out to sea, it's pushed in to the land. And we've seen this time and time again. It almost acts like a little catcher's mitt and catches the storm and pushes it toward the coast. It's very, this is something we're seeing more and more due to climate change. It's very abnormal. So let's go take a look at the southeast models here. We'll go to the southeast here. Southeast U.S. And we'll take a look here, and you'll see here, this is your storm, and it is going to deepen. You can see that. It's going to deepen and make an impact somewhere in South Carolina. Looks like maybe Myrtle Beach might be ground zero over here. And it's going to make a landfall tomorrow afternoon, most likely, in South Carolina. And it's going to cause a lot of power outages and a lot of storm surge flooding. And it's going to cause more devastation. There's going to be flash flooding as well. It moves inland, and it results in flooding as well. So if we actually look at the rainfall here, the total accumulated rainfall, you'll see here, possibly, again, 5 or 6 inches of rain could be flash flooding, even up into these interior areas. All right. Winds. Let's go to the winds now. So here you go. It's going to strengthen again. See, it picks up power. Strengthens. It's over that warm water. I think it could get up to 100 miles an hour before it makes landfall tomorrow afternoon, and cause again significant storm surge flooding. Even if you're in North Carolina, you're going to feel the storm surge flooding, and even in the East Coast, we're going to have some flooding along the coast as well, and then it moves inland. Further up, I'm talking about like Delmarva into New Jersey, maybe Long Island too, and then it moves up into and then kind of sits there and kind of dissipates the moisture while the moisture is flung up the East Coast from it. But this again, really unusual to see. That's definitely not not what you want to see. We can look at a few more models. We have the HRRR to look at as well, and we will go look at that. The 0 is the HRRR as well. GFS seems to. Yeah, HRRR strengthens it too. Now, they all seem to agree on the path. That's why I'm not even looking at the spaghetti models anymore, because they all seem to agree on this path right here that takes it right into the center of South Carolina's coast, right there. All right, and they all seem to agree at this point what's going to be happening. A European model as well. This is the Euro. Euro is the one that doesn't want to strengthen it too much, but I think the Euro may be underestimating it. All right. As far as the winds and the depth of this storm system go. You can see the landfall is a little bit further south than the others and a little faster than some of the others. and it takes it in, and then just kind of lets it rain out over the mountains there. And again, if we look at the total accumulated precip, you can see lots of rain there. So if we are to look, and we'll take this now, and we'll look at eastern U.S., we'll show the rainfall spread from this, and you'll see some of it is going to affect our area, and it's got us in the purple, so we may get as much as 2 inches. That's the European model. GFS, a little less. GFS wants to keep it a little further to the south, all right, and give us maybe half an inch to an inch of rain, all right. So I'll have to watch that closely, but I'm not even thinking about that right now. We've got another landfall for this storm, and things are going to continue to get worse. And again, it's going to get worse in the Carolinas. They're going to start already feeling the effects, and it's going to get a lot worse. And I think there are going to be a whole lot of people. I think when all is said and done, I think maybe 3 to 4 million people could lose power entirety of all the from this whole storm. Every area that it's affected. That is incredible. All right, that is something to really think about. All right, so let's go look at our. And we're at the GFS, right? Okay, so let's go look at let's go back to the HRRR, and we will go into look at our area now, all right? And I'll have more updates on the storm, but let's talk about our weather right now. So I'll have another update on it probably later tonight. So this is your HRRR showing the total accumulated precip through Sunday, all right? So we show what happens here as with the remnants come into our area. So tomorrow we'll just have clouds. But as we get into Saturday, particularly in the early morning hours, we could have some pretty heavy rain. And it kind of tries to break up, but the showers kind of linger around a little bit. That's as far as we get with the HRRR. If we go to the GFS here, you'll see that the showers sort of try to get pushed back down by this high that's trying to build in and pushing it back on Monday. Like I said, very unusual to see it's actually going to be pushed back like that. Really unusual to see that. That's a really weird blocking pattern. That's all I have to say. We could look at the FV3. Yeah, I don't have that much of it in, of course, and I don't feel like using an old run. And then we can also look at the European model. We'll go to that. This is the European model. And that's the most aggressive with the rain, bringing it in as quick as midnight tomorrow. So almost 24 hours from now, we'd be dealing with the rain. And then we'd have heavy rain throughout the day on Saturday. And then it would probably start to taper off by Sunday. But it's going to try. It's very hard. It wants to just linger it around. This is the European model, all right? Again, they're all, and the European obviously gives us the most rain out of them all because it has the moisture getting up here quicker and more of it, and they're just kind of sitting there, giving us a miserable weekend. I guess I'd rather this damn thing just go out to sea already, but that's not going to happen, unfortunately. It's done so much already, and it's not done yet. All right, so let's go back to the HRRR, and we'll look at our dew points and temperatures and wind flows, because the winds are going to start. We're going to have that winds becoming easterly tomorrow. As you see, we'll have that easterly wind, and there's the moisture just off to the south. And you can see, if you're just off to the south, there's some really humid air that's going to be forced up and over the cooler air. That's what's going to produce all the rain. And the GFS shows this as well. So here's the GFS. You see the same kind of idea. So you're going to have all this moisture, and it's just going to dump lots and lots of rain on us on Saturday before the high comes in and tries to push this down, and we maybe get into some drier air by Monday and Tuesday, hopefully. You can still see there's a circulation there. All right, so here we go. And that, it could actually wind up forming again once it gets back out over the water and becoming another tropical system. Yeah, that's right. So that's crazy right there. That's crazy. All right. So temperatures, and I'll just use the GFS for this already. Temperatures, obviously tonight, got the cloud, so it's not going to drop back as much as it did this morning, and I'll have to look at the lows to this morning as well. I didn't do that. But tomorrow will be cooler with the clouds. Highs only in the mid-60s, and getting down only the 50s tomorrow night. Saturday with the cloud, we could be very cool Saturday. Highs may only be in the 50s, if that, which would be really unusual to see, because again, there's a warm front sitting just off to the south, and some of the areas to our south will be warm and humid, but we're not going to get in that warm sector. I hope not. And then Sunday, the clouds, that northeast flow, and we're all still struggling to reach 60 degrees. It's going to be a very cool weekend. And then Monday, we see temperatures rise a little bit into the low to mid 60s, but we'll still be well below normal this entire weekend. Here we are looking at Tuesday. All right. Clouds, well, obviously, we're going to have clouds. Obviously, this is the cloud shield here. And you see right here, it's just sitting over us, and we're going to have we probably, maybe you'll get a little sun tomorrow, but then after that, I don't think we'll see the sun until maybe Monday. All right. And then maybe Monday or Tuesday, we'll get into the sunshine again. So we'll have like at least a couple of days with no sun and very just raw, miserable conditions, but it's nothing like what everybody else is going through. We really can't complain. And we could, of course, use the rain. So look at some of the other models, the high resolution models here for the skies, just to give you an idea. And again, you can see here we are tomorrow in that cirrus shield, and probably be a milky looking sky with that cirrus overhead. And then as we get to Saturday, you see we're still stuck in the clouds. And as we get to Sunday, you still see we're kind of trying to push the clouds down. But we'll have to see again, because you have this system just cut off. And again, there's nothing to really take it away, because again, we have this abnormal jet stream pattern. If we go look at the CONUS view again and look at the jet stream, let me go to the GFS here and look at the jet stream into next week, and you'll see what the problem is. So it just kind of sits there. There's nothing really to kick it out because there's no jet stream. Where's the jet stream? There isn't a jet stream here. Do you see a jet stream? I don't see much of a jet stream. So this is the problem we have. Now it goes into like kind of a split flow here. So it's just a mess all around. And that is not a good thing to see. So, but fortunately, fortunately for us, we're going to be spared the worst effects from this. We'll just get some rain from it. You can see the weird setup we have here. So that is what we have set up. So let me go to the northeast view, and I want to look at the wave heights here, because we will see some wave heights. We will see some rough surf. You can see some of that. Actually, Sunday and the weekend, we're going to see some rough surf and coastal flooding, Jersey and the South Shore. Look at that. So, yeah, this storm is still not done. We're still going to be dealing with some effects from it. Not nearly as bad, but the storm could still cause some minor damage, even in our area. All right, that's something to keep in mind as we head into the weekend. So I want to go back to the weather and hazards map here and just go into our area. Look at some of what we got going on outside right now in our area, because we haven't done that yet. And let's go and bring this up here. We can. You can see the high surf advisories already. Now, it's nice this would come up, but of course, it doesn't want to. So we'll have to see. We may not be able to get these observations for you. It doesn't seem like it wants to. We just have a spinning circle with nothing going on. So what we'll have to do, because it's not loading, we'll have to go and look at it this way, because we're not getting observations. So ice slips 58 degrees. Dew point 47, north wind at 8. And looking at your observations here, you'll see here that we were generally in the mid-60s, and we had plenty of clouds around for a good part of the day, as you see being reported there. Let's see, can we finally, it still hasn't loaded. Let's just try this again. Hold on, we're going to try it again. Yep, it seems like the map is having problems. We'll try this one more time, because, and you can see the frost and freeze warning, so it's going to be cold air that's going to be being pulled down by this storm. Let's see if we can get some observations. There we go. Yay. All right, so here we go. 57 at Gabreski Airport, 2.48. So generally we're in the mid-50s right now. Very cool night. So let's go to our highs and lows for the day. First, the lows. And I don't think it got down that low, but we'll go and we'll take a look at it. This is the problem. It just gets caught in a spinning circle, and then it doesn't work. So, but I don't think we got into the 70s today. I think we were in the upper 60s. What about highs? Can we get highs on the screen? Maybe we can get highs on the screen. You think that's possible? Or no? We're not going to be able to do that. Yeah, this site is just pathetic. It really is. It really, really is. Unfortunately, the other side, I can't bring highs up. So, yeah, we're not going to be able to get that information for you today. I do apologize, but the weather service servers are not able to handle the traffic that's going through their site right now. So let me go to windy.com, and we'll go back to Ian, and we'll visualize this with a bit of a higher resolution model here. So first we're going to look at this on the European model, all right? And let me put this to wind gusts, all right, so we get an idea of, because this is where the strongest winds are. So you see, this is the European model, and you can see it looks like actually it takes it, not so much Myrtle Beach, Charleston is the European's choice here for landfall. However, if we move this off to the GFS, you can see it's closer to Myrtle Beach, all right? So, and this is underestimating it, I think, all right? I think it's going to be stronger than this. I really do. All right, so when we look at we'll go back to the European here, and we'll go and look at, I think something's not right with the GFS here. Do we have the HRRR in here? Oh, yeah, there you go. The HRRR is closer to Myrtle Beach, and this actually brings it, they're going to feel the effects tomorrow morning. All right, the HRRR is a little faster, but that landfall is going to be around 2 o'clock, but they're going to feel the effects by 10 o'clock. All right? Let's go back to GFS. European. Let's look at the waves, because this is where you're going to see some crazy surf. So look at these waves offshore here. And this is going to come crashing. This is going to be devastating storm surge. Yeah, the storm's not done yet. It's going to now, it devastated a lot of Florida, and now it's going to devastate South Carolina, the coast of South Carolina tomorrow. And you can see just because it's such a huge storm, the size of it is so big. And that's the thing that really is remarkable. So look at the effects of this now. As we track this into your weekend, you can see the effects now going up into our area. And now we're seeing effects of the storm surge in our area here with 10-foot waves here offshore. And we're going to see that also because we're going to have that northeast wind. Here we go. Even in Sunday, we're still dealing with it. And now it gets even worse. That gradient tightens up. So we're going to see some coastal flooding too. Here we are Sunday. Look at the waves offshore. Very strong. And, this is going to be from the northeast winds because of the northeast. Monday, still dealing with that gradient, that pressure gradient, all right, that's going to develop. Because if we look at the wind here, we're looking at the European model. But take a look at this. You can see these really strong winds just offshore for us, 50-mile-an-hour gusts and 39-mile-an-hour gusts over us. Here we are Sunday. It looks like some areas, the east end, might be seeing 48-mile-an-hour gusts. So, yeah, this storm is going to... Everybody along the whole East Coast is going to feel something from Ian. That is for sure. But I think that's going to wrap up this weather update. Again, just a lot going on. I've been going for over a half an hour already. So, again, let's just go to tidbits again one more time. Look at Ian again. This is Ian right here. And you can see the blow-ups. So the storm is strengthening. We got warm water here, all right? I guess there's dry air on the backside of it, but there's still enough warm water to keep that thing going, keep it a hurricane, and maybe give it a little more strength by the time it makes landfall. All right, we will look at the spaghetti models because they are kind of all over the place. All right, the landfall will be in South Carolina, but after that, it's anybody's guess what's exactly going to happen. But we'll have more information for you tomorrow. GEFS ensembles here. And this is the intensity guidance. And look at that. Some of them keep it a tropical storm still. So once it gets back out it could go weaken over land. And then once it gets back out over the water again, it could become a tropical storm. This storm is going to be one for the record books. But again, we keep setting records every hurricane season because we're dealing with the effects of the climate crisis. And this is just the beginning. And that's what's truly scary. So that's going to wrap up this weather update. Have a good night. And, of course, we pray for Florida and South Carolina and all of us for that matter as we deal with a climate that is spiraling out of control while most people don't seem to be aware of just how bad it's going to get. Have a good night.